Welcome back to Christy TV. Senator Natasha ordered her petitions IGP over Akpabio and Professor Mgbeke's alleged criminal defamation, cyber-stalking and attempted assassination. In the petition dated 15th May 2025 and signed by her lawyer, Dr. Ehioge West Idaho Sasan, the senator representing Kogi Central said the petition was supported by incontrovertible evidence from public broadcasts, witness testimonies, media reports, and expert analysis. The lawyer said the document demonstrates a deliberate retaliatory campaign by Senator Akpabio, using proxies and resources at his disposal to harm Senator Akpabio's reputation, jeopardize her safety, and obstruct justice after she accused him of sexual harassment. So, according to Vanguard News, they say that Kogi Central Senator Natasha has petitioned the Inspector General of Police, Kayode, demanding urgent probe of Senate President Godswill Akpabio and the Facebook influencer known as SANDRA, publicly known as Professor Mgbeke. So, my people are see they hot. We all know the case between Natasha and Senator Akpabio. And suddenly, this girl from from nowhere, popped up, known as Professor Mgbeke. She started posting Senator Natasha's clone audios, records of she and Senator Natasha, where Senator Natasha was busy smiling, laughing with her, telling her, with female to woman conversation. Unfortunately, she didn't know that this girl is a snake in a green grass, a green snake in a green grass. So that is why in this, like whatever you're trying to say, there are some of your secrets that you are not expected to leak it to people. You are expected to give your man some certain times. It's very, very vital. Not everything you're passing through that you should learn someone, that your closest friend self, don't even tell them. Yes, in this case of Senator Natasha many people should learn from this. And anyway, I love as Senator Natasha at the moment I filed a lawsuit case against this Professor Mgbeke, known as SANDRA, because people are obviously began to believe Professor Mgbeke because Natasha only came online to debunk her lies, saying that she will address this in no longer time, and she did not file a lawsuit case against her. People are like, what is going on? It's no longer the Natasha we used to know that if you do bad, Natasha will sue you, like this guy, this Senate from Kogi Central, when he talked ill about Natasha and her husband. I think they sued him, demanding some amount of money for defamation of their character. So this Professor Mgbeke has finally been sued by our own Senator Natasha. That is a good thing to know in case you've been wondering why Natasha doesn't want to sue this woman. She just wants to gather a lot of evidences. Like you saw two whistleblowers and the evidence of Adola's YouTube channel, and she's now using all these evidences to against Professor Mgbeke, known as SANDRA. So noting that the petition was supported by incontrovertible evidence from public broadcasts, like I said earlier, witnesses, testimonies, media reports, and expert analysis from Adola. The lawyer said that the document demonstrates a deliberate retaliatory campaign by Senator Akpabio, using proxies and resources, like I said earlier, at his disposal to harm Senator Akpabio's reputation, jeopardize her safety, and obstruct justice after they accused him of sexual harassment. So why would Akpabio stoop solo to work with someone like Professor Mgbeke? Professor Mgbeke, who came online to say that she was one of the founders of SONCAP, whereas SONCAP was founded in the year 2001-2002, and probably this girl might be at the age of, let's say, 19 years to 20 years as of then. So how come you were one of the founders or one of the people that established SONCAP in Nigeria, whereas this particular organization was its emancipation in Nigeria was during the year of 2001? You understand that? Adeola exposed this young lady. She still get the mind to come on social media spaces to call Adeola all sorts of names, to talk this, talk that, whereas the truth is always there. Even if you go online to browse about it, you will discover when SONCAP came into emancipation in Nigeria. So who are we expected to believe in this perilous time? So my correct people, even Natasha's lawyer equally she went on live with Channel Television. I think that was like earlier this month of May. He talked about something concerning this Senator Natasha has an Akpabio. Anyway, before that, I want to give you guys the full hint of this particular petition against Akpabio and of course Professor DURU, known as SANDRA, DURU, or Professor Mgbeke, anyhow you want to address him or her. So part of the petition reads, in the weeks following our client's suspension from the Senate, a previously unknown individual styling herself as Professor Mgbeke began publishing sympathetic commentaries on Facebook, offering scholarly support to what she described as the prosecution of women in politics. She consistently identified as Professor Mgbeke and never once acknowledged being SANDRA DURU. She adopted the persona of an academic committed to amplifying women's voices, and it was in this capacity that she gained the attention of her clients and many Nigerians who supported gender equity. So moved by her parents' sincerity and scholarship, our client contacted Professor Mgbeke to express gratitude, as she often does with individuals who show consistent public support. However, what followed shocked our clients. Professor Mgbeke made persistent overtures requesting a contractual retainer to formally support our clients. Public image. She demanded to be paid for what she portrayed as a capacity to, frame narratives and rally digital support. Our client politely declined any form of transactional engagement. Immediately thereafter, Professor Mgbeke began sending aggressive messages, and within days began what evolved into a deliberate, malicious, and coordinated campaign of character assassination at the time of their interaction and throughout the initial smear campaign. Our client did not know that Professor Mgbeke was in fact Dr. SANDRA DURU, a Nigerian residing in Texas. In fact, when our client reported the threat to law enforcement and was asked to identify SANDRA DURU, she responded truthfully that she had never heard that name. It was only after the May 1st, 2025 broadcast and following investigations by journalists and testimonies of accomplices that the true identity of Professor Mgbeke was unmasked as SANDRA DURU. This deception forms the foundation of an identity used to gain trust, manipulate public opinion, and eventually launch a treasonous smear campaign against a sitting senator. Accordingly, the petitioners prayed for a comprehensive probe into the allegations, focusing on individuals involved in planning, funding, and execution. The lawyer also called for questioning of Dr. SANDRA DURU and other implicated individuals, including key witnesses and accomplices. Other demands include a forensic examination of electronic evidence, including doctored audio recordings, call logs, and digital files, as well as an urgent request for security measures for Senator Natasha and key witnesses to ensure their safety. The petitioner also requested indictment and prosecution of all culpable individuals to uphold justice and that the police thoroughly investigate the veracity of all statements made by Professor Mgbeke, now reversed to be SANDRA DURU, during and after the 1st May 2025 broadcast, including all communications between her and known associates of Senator Akpabio. So that statement and actions of third-party collaborators who publicly endorse the defamatory broadcast be examined to determine their knowledge of and participation in the conspiracy. We maintain that the actions against our clients amount to a criminal enterprise violating multiple laws. We respectfully urge your service to painstakingly investigate the content of this petition and ensure that justice is expeditiously dispensed to all who may be involved in this particular case or found wanting regardless of their status in the Nigerian society, the petitioner added. Noting that the backdrop of the case is one of personal grievance, the petitioner said, Senator Akpabio, feeling aggrieved and traumatized by the public accusation, as he himself described, and seeing his reputation at stake, had clear motive to retaliate and discredit Senator Akpabio in any way possible. Shortly after the sexual harassment claim and suspension, our client observed a sudden surge of defamatory propaganda against her on social media and in certain press outlets. Evidence now shows that this was no organic backlash, but a coordinated smear campaign sponsored by Senator Akpabio as a form of revenge. It is pertinent to highlight further evidence demonstrating the operational nexus between Senator Akpabio and Dr. SANDRA DURU, as inadvertently revealed during her live broadcast of 1st May 2025. Dr. Duru's call log displayed multiple contacts, including my daddy, direct line, IGP Kayode, Senator Akpabio, with at least 2 saved numbers, Obi Ndukwe, the media aide to the Senate president, who later appeared on Politics Today with Seun Okimbalov, to publicly condemn our client and CP Imo Aboki Danjuma. Aboki Danjuma, as well as Senator Ned Nwoko, he added. According to the petitioner, the presence of these names, particularly those occupying high-level positions within Nigerian security architecture, strongly suggests that Senator Akpabio and Dr. DURU were acting in concert, possibly with the support or knowledge of certain police officials. This revelation further strengthens our client's position that the defamatory campaign and associated threats were not the isolated act of a rogue individual, but the product or out of a rough individual, but the product of a coordinated effort involving Senator Akpabio and his political and security network intended to discredit, harass, and endanger her. Shortly after the broadcast, Mr. Monday Obani's son, a senior legislative heir to Senator Akpabio, and also his counsel on record before the sexual harassment petition hearing before the Senate Committee on Ethics. Are you guys seeing something? Petitioning the Senate Committee on Ethics. He just petitioned the hearing of this particular Senate. You imagine, these people say people are very fun. Anyway, let's continue. These privileges and public petitions, Mr. Obani, son, a known ally and associate of Senator Godswill Akpabio, a publicly eulogized Professor Mgbeke, praising her courage and purported factual expositions. This endorsement came at a time when multiple stakeholders were condemning the broadcast as false, defamatory, and dangerous. Mr. Obani's eulogy, when viewed alongside the call log linking Professor Mgbeke to Senator Akpabio, suggests insider awareness and tacit approval from Akpabio's inner circle. It further entrenches the case that the defamatory broadcast was not an isolated act by a rough individual, but a concerted operation backed by political actors loyal to Senator Akpabio. One of the most grievous and inflammatory claims made by Professor Mgbeke was the allegation that our client was part of a covert plan to remove the Yoruba government. This assertion by its very nature imputes that our client was involved in a plot against the executive arm of the federal government. Such an allegation, particularly when made in public and broadcast via computer networks, fulfills the threshold for conspiracy to commit a treasonable felony. It is not only defamatory but also a criminal falsehood that invites unlawful prosecution and public hostility. The deliberate use of ethic framing, implying that our client was targeting an ethic bloc in government, was meant to incite national disaffection and trigger security backlash against her, the petitioner added. That is it for Natasha's new lawsuit case against Professor Mgbeke, known as SANDRA, DURU, Akpabio, and the IGP of police, because of threat to her life, allegations, spreading false information against her, and using all these clone voices and other things. So there are evidences that Senator Natasha has that is with her. She has some evidences in her possession in which prompted her to file this lawsuit case against these people, and she's demanding for proof. She's not demanding for either, let's say, 50 billion in damages or whatever it might be. She's demanding that these people should be brought to justice, that they should be dealt with for crossing the lines. Anyway, my people, my lovers, my viewers, what is your opinion regarding this latest news? I know that lovers of our lovely and amiable Senator Natasha Akpabio will be very, very happy wherever they are, because it has been what I'm expecting. I keep asking myself question, what is holding Natasha from suing this influencer on Facebook, this person that is busy spreading lies, talking whatever she feels like. She can talk on the social media space, especially on Facebook, going live to talk ill about her, simply because you have a conversation with someone does not mean that the person obviously leaked his or her secrets with you. The woman is just leaked only, in fact, she has leaked everything that she has. She doesn't have any other evidence, because she's that type of woman is someone that if she has that evidence that we are looking from her, or we are wanting her to provide on her Facebook page, she would have released all of them. But because she doesn't have any, she has provided all. Forget that. She said that she's going to post the rest of the videos later. Since then, it is almost 1 month too. She have not posted anything. Natasha have bring whistleblower, bring a witness against this woman. Yes, she have not posted the rest. And I saw one of her writing, because I'm following her Facebook page, so that we get exactly what this woman is actually saying, to get the full details, to know, understand. We are eager to know where this woman, where she's coming from and where she's about to land. So in this, she said that she has left Nigeria already. She has gone back to her base. So that means she equally came to Nigeria because of this particular case. Because when it seems that this case is almost, going offline, that is dying off, boom, this woman showed up with her own allegations, saying that Natasha called her this and that. Oh, so someone called you seeking for your help, or probably trying to know who you are, probably hear that you advocate for women, women advocacy, you fight for women, for gender equality, you understand? So that's why she approached you, maybe probably because of what she was passing through in the House of Senate and the way they suspend this lady, and she approached you. I'm thinking that will be of help to her. Unfortunately, she didn't know that you're a blackmailer. Yes, that's the word I'm gonna use, because you clone the audios and you use it against her without giving us the full details of exactly what happened in that particular conversation between you and her. And according to the lawyer, he equally said that this lady began at a point she became aggressive to Natasha, which made Natasha to block her and to, discredit her. And she didn't even further with her or say anything concerning her demands with this young lady. She only had to use the little conversation she had with Natasha, to blackmail and talk ill about this lady especially on her Facebook page. Anyway, my lovers and viewers, I want you guys to watch this particular interview with Natasha's lawyer in a channel's television. I think this was posted like on May 5th. Some of us might have not come across this particular interview, but I think that you need to watch this. It's very, very important. And if you finish watching, never subscribe to our YouTube channel, what are you waiting for? Please touch the bell button, touch the subscription button. I mean to say, if you subscribe, still touch the bell button, so that the thing will turn on. So in fact, turn on all notification, so you always get notified whenever we post our latest content. Christine TV is always ready and eager to give you any update that has to do with Senator Natasha Akpabio and of course the Senate President Akpabio Causeway. Stay tuned and watch the rest of the video.
The Senate done anything wrong against Senator Akpabio?
Well, to start with, I think that they have not just wronged Uduaghan, they've wronged Nigeria. The reason is simple. We all know that a few days ago, maybe 2 days ago or so, the court order was served on the Senate of Nigeria. The committee in charge of ethics and so on and so forth. And that there was proof of service. I mean, this was flying on the social media and everyone saw it. They got a substituted order to serve by on the Senate through the office of the clerk. This was done. And then, in spite of this, you then sit down, you then rush a committee report, and then the person who is accused and who was likely to suffer from a suspension order was not even present. And so, in one breath, there was no fair hearing. You never heard the other side, in line with the provisions of the Constitution, Section 36. In the other breath, you disobeyed flagrantly a court order. And then you turn around to say, oh, the judiciary is not strong enough, the judiciary should improve. When we are the very ones, by this behavior, undermining judicial institutions in this country. Honestly, if I were the judge and the appropriate applications are made before me, I will go very far to make that point strong. Now let's come back to the rules. They made so much noise about the rules. We wrote these rules.
Rule 60, Rule 40, we reviewed, Rule 20. There are a few sections of...
We reviewed the rules in 1999. I was the first to lay down the reviewed rules. It was what I laid and I sent to the Senate for them to use. It's not changed. They've just changed, increased committees, a few here and there. Now, the Senate President allocates the seat. The dispute arose from the allocation of seat. Now, once it is the Senate President that allocates a seat and a senator complains about a right to a seat, it's a privilege, because the right to be in the Senate is by election and a certificate of return. Do not forget, you and I cannot go there. So once he raises that point, it is a duty under Order 10, the famous Order 10 she was shouting about, of the presiding officer to have suspended all other matters. I consider that a very serious issue, and taking her complaint and make a formal ruling. But if you watch the proceedings on that day, as the distinguished senator was shouting Order 10, Order 10, I already heard the presiding officer talking about prepare for suspension. Review the tape. We've seen it. You were already preparing her for suspension even before you.
So was it fait accompli?
Oh yeah, it was completely.
They decided our fate even long before the ethics committee was even.
It was predetermined. And then beyond that, the question was, at the time they went to court, the issue was that there was a thinking, a suspicion that she might be suspended. That was why she went to court. If you don't stop them, they will do it. And then they did it in spite of receiving the order. Now, I said to them, they were wrong. Section 4, subsection 8 of the Constitution is clear. In the conduct of its legislative powers and duties, their conduct shall be subject to the judiciary.
So you can actually, another arm of government can stop the activities of another arm of government.
Look, can I just take it briefly?
So the judiciary, the court can stop
away
the activities
Yes.
that goes on in the chamber. I imagine that the activities within the chamber,
Yes.
there is some level of immunity to the procedure and the activities of lawmakers within the chamber.
As long as the activities do not obstruct the due process of law. I mean, once the Senate is in session, it is carrying out legislative business. Whether it is about a seat, whether it's about a breach of privilege, whether it is about passing a law, whether it's about passing a motion, it's all brought down on legislative privilege. And so when the Constitution of Nigeria says that the National Assembly's duties shall be subject to the jurisdiction of the courts, shall, it means it. And that's why they run to court each time they are suspended. Jinda was there. Ndume was there.
And I was going to reference the case of Omar Agege. It was a rested case in the court.
Yes.
The case of Ali Ndume. They all went to court.
Dino Melaye.
Dino Melaye.
Yes.
These are cases that have been decided by our
Correct.
court. In that case, there is an underlying factor that the courts
have talked about.
For
For example, most courts are of the view that you can't suspend a sitting senator or lawmaker of any legislative body for more than 14 days, interpreting the Legislative Powers and Privileges Act.
But so there is an establishment that the Senate or the National Assembly, when there is a quorum and there is a sitting, can suspend one of their own.
Oh, yeah,
established,
definitely.
Yeah, by their own rules.
Definitely.
But the court, as at the famous case of Senator Omar Agege,
Yes.
that you cannot suspend for more than 14 days.
Correct. And not only that, you can also not suspend without hearing the other party.